Solar energy is still a bit of a mystery to a lot of people in our network. Crews often lack the information to even assess a home for solar.
There we have it, yeah.
This series has that information. Part 1 of the Home Energy Pro Solar series will teach you how to assess a home's potential for PV during an audit.
Another day in paradise. Thanks for letting us tag along.
As well as size a system to suit the home's energy consumption and site characteristics.
I'll go inside, greet Rich. We're going to take a look at his main house breaker, which is in the garage. I'll take the dead front off that, document it, take some photos. We'll zoom out to the main meter panel, and then from there we'll get the ladder out and proceed to take measurements.
Perfect, let's do it.
Keep in mind, the order of these steps can vary. But before details are confirmed on site, a lot can be done from the office first. This is where we figure out what size system the client needs and what size we can fit.
The first step is initial contact with the customer. We get an address. We take their utility bill and plug it into the software to make the initial proposal. Is all preliminary. We then will do the site assessment to verify the measurements of the roof, the electrical infrastructure, going from initial proposal to sending them a final quote, right? The software takes the satellite imagery GPS location, and then it takes 30 years of NREL weather data for this exact spot and calculates its annual solar production and contrasts that with the customer's annual consumption needs of electricity. So this is what gives us some figures of system size, the consumption energy offset that we're hoping for.
So it uses PV watts in the background and creates an interface that you can create proposals.
Exactly. So this was the initial proposal that we gave to the customer. As you can see, I had an array up here, and then we have a sub-array on that east-facing aspect.
The steps are the same for any audit, regardless of the home.
Hi, Rich.
We'll meet with the client to go over the system options and discuss the process.
You want to come in to do that?
Thank you. The inverters that we've specified for your system are microinverters. Microinverters can optimize power accordingly if there was any soiling or shading on parts of the array that would normally shut down. With your solar system, you'll get an online monitoring app that's going to give you an idea of how much electricity you're using, as well as how much solar production is occurring. All right, let's check out your main house breaker, please.
You don't need to be an electrician to assess the point of connection for a PV system.
We're trying to find out where we want to interconnect the solar to the grid.
We're looking for two things. Do we have at least 200 amps of service? And can we reach a service or sub panel easily from the roof?
Here we are, 225 amp panel. And he does have breaker space up top here, so that's a good sign. 9 times out of 10, we just tie into the meter panel on the side of the house. Service meter panel, yes please. All right, this is great. We'll most likely come straight down into the service meter panel. The combiner box would go here, and that combiner box is going to be your gateway for communications and a disconnect switch, which then goes to this. 250 amp max, that's a really good sign, especially for future solar if you expanded your system. There we have it, yeah. This breaker space right here is more than likely where the solar breaker will go. Yeah, we will interconnect here at the service meter rather than backfeed breaker in the main house breaker panel. This digital meter is retrofit for grid-tied solar. Traditionally, in the past, you would see the dial and it would turn it back around, which is kind of a cool feeling to see. Instead, you have this little arrow here. When your solar system is producing energy, the arrow is going to go to the left, showing that you're exporting electricity. Right now, you are you're importing electricity.
Look for that left arrow, that'd be great. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for you, and it's so sunny here throughout the year. you're going to be producing a lot of energy.
Let's get up on the roof.
You'll spend most of your time assessing the roof for structural integrity, ease of installation, and overall condition. It's also the right time to verify the system size. Before we take measurements, when you're in the attic looking for insulation and air sealing opportunities, you'll also want to take a peek at the framing to make sure it's structurally sound to put panels on. To be safe, we're looking for stamped engineered trusses. You can see here, we have rafters. This house was built in 1883. We wanted to take you to an older home to show you an example of what you may encounter.
An ideal roof pitch at this latitude is 33 degrees. Anywhere between 412 to 612 is pretty ideal for maximum production.
So the sun's up higher in the summer versus winter, so you actually want a little bit shallower pitch to maximize your summer production. That makes sense?
We'll have a subarray of 3 on the east, and then we'll have the majority of the panels up top here on this beautiful south aspect.
So I've always heard you want to face south with these. How much of a difference does it make?
Most people believe south is the only spot, but an east array, a west array, you'll probably have 5% less efficiencies of production.
So that's not much.
Let's start by measuring the big arrays aspect. We'll get up on that top roof.
Absolutely. All right.
Now, a lot of the times, solar companies will do this with drone technology, which we do as well. Drone technology's come a long ways on getting exact measurements of a roof. And there are fire code setback distances that we have to keep in mind. If an array takes up 30% of a roof, you must be 18 inches from the ridge cap, 36 inches from any eave, and 18 inches from any hip valley portion of the roof where there's an obstruction. If you look here, this is where we're gonna get a snow load on a roof, and you don't wanna have the array in an area where the snow or ice is gonna build up over a long period of time.
Got it.
I think we're looking at a 9 kilowatt system for his house. The proposal software is taking into account his consumption.
Are you trying to hit 100%? Are you trying to hit 80%?
We'd love to hit 100% energy consumption offset. That is going to zero out his yearly utility bills. We will even go a little above that, 110%, and that accounts for any losses in the 25-year lifespan of the panels.
So the panels degrade a little bit over time. They're not going to produce quite as much.
Correct. And so by oversizing the system slightly, we're making up for those losses.
Got it. Cool.
Site characteristics are the final step in assessing a home for PV. We're mostly looking for trees and other structures that may shade our array.
This is a shade analysis tool. This will give us an idea of any potential shading.
Like a solar pathfinder, there's almost nothing that could shade
Exactly.
here.
He has a good solar window. I might do just one capture of the top aspect for the winter and summer calculation.
Many of the site details can be calculated by solar software online. Yet some determinations like shading losses might need to be confirmed on site.
I might hand some things down to you. I think I'm all finished.
Well, that didn't take long. That rounds out the steps of a solar site assessment.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
Thanks.
To learn how to install a system, tune in to part 2 of our Home Energy Pro Solar Series.